Yeah, the madness is upon us. How's everybody doing? We are back, and it is almost spring. March Madness is upon us. Today is St. Paddy's Day, and we are going to discuss madness. Madness all around. Z-Man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Joe Cap. It is madness today in more ways than one. I got to throw a quick shout-out to my girl, Peggy Sue Sherman from the Mill.
Peggy Sue.
Who's taking care of me today. Peggy Sue, we love you.
We love you, Peggy.
And so, like, I went to pay my tab. Check this out. I went to pay my tab.
Right.
I took a gift card out. It was for another local establishment.
Nice.
She's looking at me. She's like, what are you doing with this? Like, of course, that was the topic of conversation for a while. But she's my girl, and I got to throw her a shout out.
Yeah, it's like you got flowers for another woman with her name on a different woman.
And she's the best, Joe Cap, and
awesome.
She'll never let
Peggy
me
Sue,
live this out.
Peggy Sue, Peggy. Jake, how you doing?
Sue, we love you.
We love you.
Yeah.
What's up, Jake?
No, nothing, guys. Thanks for having me back. I'm glad to be back. I'm ready to get to the madness.
We're glad to have you back, Jake, because you know more hoop than we do.
That's right. We took a little hiatus. This is the time of year between the Super Bowl and March Madness that, there's really nothing really major going on. And obviously with all our lives that are happening, and so we took a little time, and now we got the madness upon us. And then before you know it, baseball will be here in full swing and all that fun stuff. That's right. Tomorrow.
Baseball's here tomorrow.
That's right. We got the Dodgers and the Cubs out in Tokyo, I guess.
Yeah, somewhere.
Awesome.
Somewhere in the Far East, because Rob Manfred's got to make more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he doesn't know how to do it. What he's like, forget about it. Yeah, it's tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock.
And also, we just had a couple of things I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about, these are just a couple of things that we'll get into the madness. We had that Four Nations hockey tournament, which was I think it was a great idea from Bettman to get something going instead of the normal All-Star game. What'd you guys think of that whole deal?
I thought it was great, man. I thought,
did too.
You know what? The NHL gets it.
Right.
That's the only of the four major sports, other than maybe the Major League Baseball All-Star game. Like, the NHL gets it. These guys, they play for pride. They play for their country. It was a tremendous event. I'm telling you right now, like Roger Goodell and Rob Manfred and Adam Silver, they took notice, even though Goodell doesn't care because he's trying to go global with the NFL and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, it's tough with football.
But hockey, they nailed it.
Yeah.
It was good. I actually enjoyed it.
I did too. It brought back a lot of memories. Now, obviously, they were talking about the miracle team of 80, but I want to make one thing perfectly clear. That team was as good as it was not the greatest American team assembled in the history of hockey, American hockey. The 96 team, and I want to say it again because people forget, the 96 team that played in the World Cup with Richter and net, Keith Kachuk, guys like Chelios, Modano, guys like that, Brian Leach was on that team. To me, that was the greatest American hockey team of all time assembled. They were pros and some, guys that were, I guess they were all pros. I'm trying to think if there were any amateurs on that team, but you couldn't compare that team to the 2025 USA team that they put out there, obviously against Canada. Nothing against the 2025 team, but they were trying to say that was the greatest team, and please, not even close.
You got to realize, too, Joe, that, like, hockey, as we know it today, is really still in its infancy in this country.
Yeah, like, it's definitely growing.
Right. In the last, 25 years, maybe 30 years, that's when hockey has taken off in this country.
No question. Expansion. Yep.
Yeah, the Canadians have dominated it. Them Absolutely. And the Europeans, and we're still playing catch-up, but we're getting better at it.
You know what I love, too, is down here in the Carolinas, hockey's big. We got the Checkers here in Charlotte, and then obviously the Hurricanes are playing unbelievably great
Yeah,
hockey.
well, they're one of the best teams in the NHL.
Yeah, but I mean the kids. There's a hockey, an ice rink that's right down the street from right in Pineville, which is like a big hockey mecca for kids. And it's like you would not think that it would be that popular down here in the Carolinas. You think, all right, Northeast, Midwest, that's pretty much it. No. I'm starting to see it expand. And listen, it's not the popular of the top 4 sports, not the most, but it is
because
great
it's so
to watch.
expensive.
Exactly,
It's expensive though.
It's
expensive to take your kids to let them learn how to play hockey, to get ice time, to get equipment, to travel to tournaments. Hockey is an expensive sport.
Absolutely.
Try to grab a Rangers ticket these days.
Absolutely.
You're paying between $200 and $300 to watch them play like the low levels.
Well, me and Jake, we go up to the Hurricanes Rangers game up in Raleigh, up at the NC State Arena.
Yeah.
Right, Jake? That's a pretty good deal.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I mean, it's funny too because it's pretty much half Rangers fan, half Hurricane fans. So I go in there for the first time with Jake and I'm talking to the guys. I'm like, yeah, man, half Ranger fans. And they're like, yeah, it used to be all Ranger fans. But now the Hurricanes are a good team. And, since they, came into the league as an expansion team, they've actually built up a nice program as far as professional hockey.
The real hard part about hockey, Joe, real quick, is hockey it's difficult to watch on TV.
Right.
Because your eyes are going left to right.
No question.
And it's fast and it's hard to find the puck. And your best broadcasters will build hockey. But it's a difficult television sport.
I can't believe you said that because I was thinking about how when I was a kid and we had a 19-inch black and white TV, and I would watch the Ranger games on Channel 9, and the big whistle, Bill Chadwick, would be doing the games, and you couldn't see an effing thing. And now, with the high def and the 4K, it definitely helps out to watch it. And you got a 65-inch screen, so it's definitely helped it out. But anyway, I just
got Marv Albert, 66, WNBC Sports.
Yes, with the facial.
Oh,
and
he says yes, and yes.
Yeah, he did. Matter of fact, he did the games too on Channel 9. So I just had to bring that up. And then another sport I want to bring up, which is springtime coming around, is the Players. The Players Championship was this weekend. And
that was good.
Yeah, it was good. But what gets me is that, again, I'm going to bring this up again, is where are the live guys? You cannot tell me it was Rory against these guys that are like minor leaguers. And it's like, okay, they're playing really good. And some of the guys even have some PGA Tour wins under their belt. And I get it. But I mean, it's where's DeChambeau? Where's DJ? Come on. I mean,
it's a money grab.
Where's John Rahm? It just drives me nuts that
it's a money grab.
Right, but the Players, now granted it's a PGA tournament, so they're not going to allow live guys, and hopefully live guys are going to be playing in the other majors, but it took a lot away from it. It was real shame because Rory was at that point where he would have, if any of those other guys were playing, he probably would have got beat. But listen, nothing against Rory. He won.
You can't take it away from him. He won.
No, absolutely.
He played with the hand he dealt with, and he won.
Yeah, absolutely. It just, I was watching it going, it'd be nice if there was another guy, DeChambeau or right on his neck or DJ or somebody else, John Rahm, you know what I mean? And to me, because the other guys, I mean, listen, granted, Morikawa was in there, Scheffler was in there, but they crapped out. Okay, I get it. Those guys are big time, but they crapped out. But I mean, it just, I don't know. It just took a little, I just kept thinking about it, like, it'd be a lot better if those guys were playing. But anyway, that's all I got to say about
I got a hot take before we talk madness.
Let's go.
I got a hot take.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about baseball because tomorrow's opening day, and let's talk about the Yankees.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Do we have to?
No. Real quick. This is all I want to say about the Yankees.
Go ahead.
All right. So basically, what's the difference between going over the third-tier salary cap by $5 million or by $25 million because I know it's doubled. So meaning like if you sign a guy if the Yankees sign a guy right now for $5 million, then it's basically a $10 million contract because of the taxes that they have to pay.
All right.
All right. So basically my rant is this. I'm tired of the low budget teams like the A's, the Pirates, the Reds, the Roy. I'm just throwing names out there.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
That are taking the revenue sharing in Major League Baseball and putting the Tampa Bay Rays and putting it in their pocket and not turning it over to their teams. You can't tell me because you signed a guy for like $3 million, that was your big free agency sign, and that you can't afford to do it because teams that are putting money into this luxury tax and paying like the high level, like the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers,
right,
per se, that are paying all these freights, like these other teams are getting the money.
Right.
So if I'm the Yankees, okay, and you're going to charge me $50 to park my car, you're going to charge me upwards of $15 to $20 for a beer, you're going to charge me $10 for a hot dog.
Yeah, and you're playing the A's.
Don't come back at me and tell me that you can't pay the added luxury tax to put the optimum team on the field. Now, wait, hang on.
Go ahead.
Like, don't talk to me about your farm system and you want to use these guys because that's what you do. You draft well. You want to get guys from the farm system to come up. Because when you're the Yankees, you're a global entity. You have money. You just don't want to spend it.
Well,
because you want to put money in your pocket.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? If you're going to run this kind of team out this year that you know is flawed to start with, and with like Cole being out, and now Schmidt got hurt, and Gil is hurt, and you're going to run guys like Oswaldo Cabrera out at third base, and Stanton's out for basically until Memorial Day, and you don't want to go out and try to better your team by making trades with other teams to put the best product on the field at the greatest baseball market in America, arguably the world. There's no better baseball market in the world. The game is global. So New York is its best market. And your pipeline of kids that's coming is not that good. But yet you want to throw a product on the field that you want me to show up and pay let's say $1.25 for a third level ticket or a second level ticket. You want me to park my car for $50. You want me to spend $20 on a beer, $10 on a hot dog. That's an inferior product. And I'm tired of listening to people sell me a story that isn't true. You do have the money, but you just don't want to spend it because you want that money in your pocket.
Right. Well, let me turn it on it upside down here. Now, what about the teams like Pittsburgh and the A's and all these teams that don't spend the money? They're talking about having a minimum payment where each team has got to spend at least $100 million or whatever. Let's just use that number on their team, on their players, because that's ridiculous. You have half the Major League Baseball that are basically Major League stars or Major League players, and then the other half are basically a minor league team. I mean, let's face it, the A's are a minor league team. Even the Rays are technically,
I think technically, like we'll talk about it on our next show. When
we'll get into baseball.
The A's are going to be good, but the Pirates, the Pirates,
all these,
the Rays, like you're selling your fans bullshit hope because your teams aren't that good.
Absolutely.
But yet you want us as fans to come out and support your product.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll talk about this down the road. Let's get into the madness a little bit. Jake, who's your dark horse? Who do you think that we have that's coming out of nowhere? What is a team that you've been watching or that you notice that could be a possible? I got a couple. What about you, Jake? What do you got?
Well, let's think. Since I haven't been following too much, if we're going to talk about dark horse, let's see.
I got a couple.
A team I like is Creighton. I like Creighton. I
do too, man. Good call.
There you go.
Good call, Jake. I like them too, man.
That's a good call. There's a couple I like St. Mary's. They're always tough. They have a good team. They're big and strong. Now the team that I really would like to see go far is St. John's. Let's face it. Pitino
can't
got them
shoot.
going.
Yeah.
They can't shoot.
Well, none of these teams are going to – I mean, the points are low, and the points per games seem like they're low, 50s and 60s points. I think that St. John's can basically tire a team out. They get rebounds, loose balls, they play defense. I think they can go pretty far. I really do.
They're in a tough bracket.
Me too.
Yeah.
They're in a tough bracket.
They are in a tough bracket. Let's face it, the teams that the SEC was dominant this year. I think Florida is just the team to beat. I mean, are they the number one overall seed? I don't know, but to me, Florida. I think Auburn might have been the number one overall seed. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but I just think that Florida just showed a real lot in that ACC tournament. And I think that's the team that definitely could get to the Final Four, and then who knows after that? I think they maybe, think they're my pick to go all the way. I'm going to say that right now.
I think like if you guys think about it, like you and Jake, like how many teams do you realistically believe could win the championship? Like. I'm not saying get in there.
No, I got you.
But how many teams do you really think this year can win? Because I have a number.
What's your number, Z-Man?
6.
I was just about to say 6 myself. I can't believe you said that. Originally, I was going to say 8, but I think it's realistically 6.
But like Jake, how many teams do you realistically believe? Like, how many teams you think that can get to, like, the Final Four?
Well, I think it would be more than you think because I think a lot of it maybe has to be dependent on matchups and, who upsets who, because teams could make it to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8 that are low seeds. So you just never really know.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
And I totally agree with that.
Like a team like Memphis is a 5 seed, let's say. They're a tough team. I mean, I think a team like that, you never know. I mean, there are some teams that are, like either a 6 or a 7 seed that could, which is what was St. John's. St. John's, they were a 2 seed. Oh my goodness,
they're a 2 seed.
They shut up there, right? But
before we came on, I threw together a bracket like really quick. I'm like, okay, let me look at this.
Yeah,
let me whatever, blah blah blah. So for my 4. In the South, I had Michigan State.
Okay.
In the West, I got Florida.
Okay.
In the Midwest, I've got Houston.
Yeah, Houston is very tough. Exactly.
And in the East, I took Alabama.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
because
sure.
I'm a big believer at this time of the year that you need certain components, and you and Jake touched on like this. Like, first of all, you need a team that can play defense.
No question.
You got it. Like, defense wins in every sport.
Right. Like a Houston.
Yep.
Yeah, Houston.
Like a Houston.
Yeah.
Like St. John's, if the ball rolls their way, like St. John's can get to the end of the regional final. But they have Florida. To me,
exactly.
Florida is the best team in college basketball.
I agree with that.
You can come at me with all other teams, and I'm not going to say that you're wrong, but I'm going to say that I'm right because Florida goes too deep at every position. They can defend you, they can score the basketball, and they played in the toughest conference in America this year.
Exactly. Well, everything I totally agree with you, Z-Man, because I watched a lot of the SEC this year. Because let's face it, those are the best teams. They were the best teams, the best conference this year in basketball. Better than a Big Ten, better than a Big 12. Okay, so every game, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, it was just, they were like big heavyweight fights. And to me, I think that those teams going through the season, it's almost like, they don't want to get knocked off by one of a 15 seed or something, but it's almost like they can kind of take their breath, take care of business, And then when things ramp up, I could see them, just a collision course, a collision course.
And I'll tell you something else too that you and Jake kind of like hit on. It's like upsets are going to happen. It's how your bracket is going to unfold. To me, like the first number one seed that I felt like was going to fall is Auburn.
Okay.
Which was statistically, for most of the second half of the year, the number one team in the country in the AP poll. But I watched them this weekend, and they have flaws. Again, coming out of the SEC, those teams, they're the Big Ten and the Big East. Those teams killed each other, man.
No question. Now, Auburn lost, I think, either 3 out of the last 4 or something crazy, or 2 out of the last 3, Auburn. So they're not playing on the upswing. You know what I'm saying? Where the other teams like Florida and even Alabama, are upswing. I mean, Michigan's on an upswing. So
they're on an upswing. Here's one for both you and Jake. I'd be interested to hear what both of you have to say on this. Okay. All right. North Carolina.
Oh yeah, they were. I was just watching Party Interruption, and Wilbon was going nuts. He's like, "How do you let North Carolina in?"
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But they're in. They're in. So now tell me. They're in, so they don't have to worry about that. Right. They're going to play with a chip on their shoulder.
All right. Well,
and they're dangerous.
Of course.
Because now they got a second life.
Yeah.
I think they must be overlooked. They must be overlooked a little bit.
Here's the thing. San Diego State is no pushover. I mean, they're a good team,
I have North Carolina beating them, and I also have North Carolina beating Iowa State, which would be the next round.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And then I have North Carolina going up against Michigan State, and I just think Michigan State has done it like the whole year. But here's the X factor. The games, the second weekend, not this weekend, the second weekend, the games are in Atlanta, which could get North Carolina a good crowd.
Oh, no question. No question.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were like played a home. The ACC tournament was a home game. I mean, it's the way, and same with St. John's. I mean, they had home games through their tournament.
Big East tournament.
Yeah. So I think that I mean, Atlanta for North Carolina. Are you kidding me?
Joe, North Carolina was a lane violation.
Yeah.
From tying the second team in the country.
Yeah, that's true.
And taking them to overtime.
Well, they didn't have Cooper Flag, but I hear you.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. You play the games, like Jake said, at this time of the year, like upsets matter. You play the team that's in front of you.
Right.
So that was the draw that they had, and they played it.
Right. Well, Duke, hopefully Duke gets back Cooper Flag. I mean, listen, they don't need him against Mount St. Mary's. How about Mount St. Mary's? That's the first time that they've won in the MAC. They're in the MAC this year.
Yep. Yeah, they're in the MAC.
Yeah. Yep. No Manhattan, no Iona, of course. So that kind of sucked.
But I mean, you're looking like this year more often than not, there are a lot of even games. So like Jake said, like we didn't do a bracket. We're just kind of waiting on it. Well, I agree, because if you try to take a bracket now before looking at things before, like, say Wednesday, because Thursday's the first thing, man, that's a crapshoot, dude.
Oh, totally. This, and they were talking about. Go ahead, Jake.
What? Oh yeah, no. But to your point, Z-Man, I was just going to ask. So you can totally just wait to fill out your bracket up until those first four. There's those first four games, right?
That's what I usually do.
Yep. And it's good, because when you watch these like first 4 games, like tomorrow and Wednesday, they, like, statistically, even from a betting standpoint, they speak volumes. You see a lot of stuff. And that's why, Joe, back to your point and what Jake's saying, like, you play the teams that's on your schedule. Right. Like, yes, San Diego State's no pushover. They left the door open for North Carolina. And you know what? Yeah. Now they're walking in it.
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, and then, listen, Texas, too, I mean, they got in.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's definitely when you get in that last four, whatever the first four, when you get in that,
Yeah, they're going to play Xavier.
Yeah,
I think on Wednesday night.
Exactly. And I think that it gives you a boost and say, "Holy shit! At least we're in now. Let's go out and show them that
let's go.
Should have been in the top 64." But I mean, but they're going to be decent games. Let's face it. I mean, like I said, San Diego State's no pushover for North Carolina, and Xavier's no pushover for Texas. So it should be fun. I mean, listen, it's why they call it March Madness, baby.
Yeah,
because these games.
And you know what? And you look
survive.
at you look a lot of these like 8-9, 4-13, 6-11 games or whatever. Like, these games are good. You guys are regionally, even though Jake's in Providence now, you guys are from the South. So I'm just looking at the South real quick. Here's an 8-9 game in the South. Jake hit it right. He nailed it. It's Louisville and Creighton.
Exactly.
That's an 8-9
Oh, that's
game.
going to be a good game.
Yeah.
That's a
Here's,
good game.
here's a 6-11 game. The winner of North Carolina and San Diego State against Ole Miss.
Oh, that's another
That's
good
another
game.
good game.
Absolutely, because one of those teams are going to come out, and those both are decent. And listen, let's face it. North Carolina, you even said it. They were that close to winning the or at least tying for the ACC championship game. So
how about the defending national champion?
Yeah,
UConn. They're in an 8-9 game against Oklahoma.
Yeah, you don't want to play them. You don't. If you're Oklahoma, that's not a team you want to play. No question. No question.
I'll give you guys a sleeper that I looked at.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
I'll give you a sleeper.
Let's go.
I'll give you a couple of them. I like Texas Tech as a sleeper. I like what Jake said. I like Creighton as a sleeper, and I like VCU.
Okay.
As a sleeper, and my last sleeper, you guys are going to laugh at.
Go ahead.
But it's from your neck of the woods. High Point.
Really?
High Point.
Yep.
Wow.
And here's why. Here's why. Here's why. High Point was 29-5. They're playing a 4-13 game in Jake's backyard in Providence.
Right.
Against Purdue. The High Point coach is Matt Brady. He was a coach with Siena during Siena's heyday.
Ah, yes. Okay.
When they were when nobody knew about Siena, and Siena was knocking off teams like Ohio State, Ohio State. So their first round game is in Providence against Purdue.
Right.
Purdue traditionally shits the bed. They always do. So now, if High Point beats them, they're going to go to the next round, and they're going to play another team from your backyard, Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson's tough, man. Clemson's good.
Well, you know what? When you're these teams from the South, I'm just using them because that's what we're talking about.
Right.
So now they're going to play in Providence, Rhode Island. Okay?
Right.
The crowd always roots for the underdog.
Yeah.
You know that when you used to watch your son play.
Yep, no question.
In the tournament. So you're presenting, like Jake said, it's a one game. It's depending on the matchups, anybody can win. So that's going to be one to watch.
Yeah.
Because there's always that one team, like you said, St. Mary's, Joe, which I could buy that a little bit, but they're no longer under the radar.
No, they are.
TV now.
They're a good team. I mean, let's face it. They got a good coach. They got a good program. There's no question.
But High Point. And High Point's one team. Like VCU to me is another team.
Yeah,
watch that team.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Another one that I like, but I'm not gonna. They're not really a dark horse. Is Maryland? You got to watch out for Maryland.
Yep,
Maryland.
Agree with that. Great call, man.
Beat some,
agree with that.
But they're in the same bracket with Florida, so.
But they could get to the end with Florida.
Oh yeah.
But again, it's rooting against St. John's, and I will never root against St. John's because to me they're a hometown team.
Yep.
But they're in a wicked bracket, man.
Yeah, they are in a very wicked bracket. Jake, any final thoughts for the March Madness?
I think we covered most of it. I think that's it. I don't have anything
Yeah.
that I need to
How
get
about
off my chest.
let's do a quick update on the NBA. What's your thinking so far this year? Who do you think OKC is the team? I mean, they look unstoppable. The Cavaliers lost last night. Not a big deal, but it looks like that OKC is ready to roll. I don't know.
What do you think, Jake? Go ahead.
I caught both of those games, the Cavaliers game and the Thunder game. And of course, Cavaliers lost, but I still think they're really good. I think they're not to be messed with. But
I
then
agree.
again, I watched OKC beat up Milwaukee in Milwaukee, and
Yeah.
I thought that they looked like the
killed 'em.
absolute best team.
Yeah, they killed them.
I so agree with what Jake said. I'll give me the Celtics and the Cavs, and you guys could have everybody else.
Yeah, the Celtics and the Cavs are going to be the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't imagine otherwise. I mean, listen,
and you could take everybody else. That includes Oklahoma City.
Right.
I'll take the Celtics or the Cavs, and you guys can have the field.
All right. And I'm just going to say one thing more. I'm just going to say one thing about the Knicks. The Knicks have been playing their ass off. Okay, they don't have a deep bench, and now they're finally getting Mitch Robinson back. You got to remember, this is the first year with Towns, first year first year that they're basically with this group, all right? And with Bridges, and, these guys haven't been together for 3 or 4 years, like Cleveland, like the Celtics. So give them a little bit of time. I think a move here, move there. They're going to be right in it in another year or so. I think right now they're a little short. Who knows? Mitchell Robinson comes back.
Toughness.
Yes.
That team lacks toughness on the wing.
I think their defense is lacking too. So, but I think give them time, and I think that the Knicks are still heading in the right direction. Even though they lost the other night to the Warriors, they played tough to the end, and I'm still thinking that down the road, a couple moves here and there, a couple plays here and there, they're going to be right in it with these guys. Because look at Cleveland. A couple years ago, they weren't as good as they are now. So the Knicks could do the same thing.
Ty Jerome,
our man Ty.
I know.
Exactly.
Yep, there you go.
So same with the Celtics. A couple years ago, they weren't as good as they are now. Now they're the best team. They're the champs. So OKC even, for crying out loud. So let's give the Knicks a little time with the play, another two, and then let's see what happens. But anyway, that was my final thought. Anything else before we go, guys?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Free made the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Joe.
What's that?
For Paul Rogers.
Oh yeah, man. Paul Rogers should be. Isn't he now? Bad Company, I heard's not in either, though.
No, they're not.
They're not in.
For,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pissed about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a lot of reasons. They let a lot of people in, but then you got Bad Company's not in. You don't have Jethro Tull in. I mean, come on. What are you kidding me? They named a couple of bands the other day, and I'm like, what are they doing over there, man? Come on.
Here's the other thing. Yay or nay, Green Bear.
Oh, my God. Oh, last time I had Green Bear, we were in Oswego at Buckland's.
Okay. I say nay.
Nay. I'm totally nay. I mean, I've drank. How about this? Yankee Stadium bleacher tap beer. That's way worse than green beer. I mean,
that sounds like a Jim McKeever brew.
Oh my God! When we used to go to the games, we used to go down. When Mattingly was playing, and back in when they were, they weren't that good, and so we'd get in on Friday night, no problem, couple bucks for a ticket, and just drink that crappy beer all night. Oh my God! But that was the worst. Yankee Stadium tap beer was the worst. And this is old Yankee Stadium too, so those lines must have been like rats must have been crawling through them.
That's my boy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So we'll see you, everybody. Thanks for listening, everybody. And remember to give us a shout on the email. We'll be back probably in a couple of weeks. We'll try. I think we'll be back. What do you think, Z-Man? Come back for the Elite Eight, somewhere around that.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we'll discuss. We'll see how everybody's doing.
And NBA will be in full force.
NBA,
Major
baseball.
League Baseball. The NFL draft is coming around.
Yes. We'll have a lot to talk about. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening from Jake and Z-Man. This is Joe. We'll see you next time on Off the Chest.